Margot the Poodle had rejected 15 dog walkers in 3 weeks, and Sterling Whitmore was running out of excuses to tell his assistant. The first thing Camille Dubois noticed about Sterling's building was that it had a doorman who looked like he judged people for a living. Before we begin, let us know in the comments what city you're watching from, and at the end, don't forget to rate this story from 0 to 10. Enjoy the story. Sterling stood in his penthouse living room, phone pressed to his ear, staring at Margot. She sat in the corner, perfectly still, staring back. 15, he said into the phone. 15 dog walkers, Marcus. She's rejected all of them. Sir, Marcus said on the other end, your dog has rejected more candidates than your fund rejects startups. I'm aware. Have you considered that Margot might be French royalty trapped in a dog's body? At this point, I'm considering everything. Margot walked over to where Sterling had left his phone. She sniffed. It turned around, walked away. Sterling sighed. She just judged my phone. Sir, she's a dog. She's a French dog. There's a difference. He ran his hand through his hair. She was my ex's dog. Sarah said Margot and I would bond. We have not bonded. Perhaps one more try. The luxury pet care app? Fine, one more. Sterling opened the app, started typing. Urgent. Dog walker needed immediately. Poodle. Discerning. French-speaking preferred but not required. Generous compensation. He hit post. Looked at Margot. I'm trying. You could help by being less you. Margot's expression didn't change. That look. The one Sterling had learned to recognize over 2 years. See that? He said to Margot. That's judgment, pure judgment. I'll schedule the interviews for this afternoon, Marcus said. Try not to let the dog intimidate anyone else. The dog does what the dog wants. Across the city, in a studio apartment roughly the size of Sterling's closet, Camille sat at a tiny table with her roommate Zoe. They were both eating ramen. Again. Zoe examined her bowl. This is the 3rd day of emergency noodles. It's not emergency noodles, Camille said. It's budget cuisine. That's literally the same thing. Camille's laptop sat between them, open to her bank account, $47.82. I can make this work, she said. How? Optimism and not eating. The rent notice sat on the counter, due in 3 days. $1,800. Camille had been scrolling through gig apps for an hour. Dog walking, grocery delivery, furniture assembly, anything. Then she saw it, posted 2 minutes ago. Urgent. Dog walker needed. French-speaking preferred. Generous compensation. You're going to walk a rich dog? Zoe asked. I'm going to walk any dog that pays $200 a week. It says generous compensation. That could mean anything. It could also mean rent. Camille clicked apply. I have a PhD in French literature. Surely I can handle one French dog. You know the dog probably doesn't actually speak French, right? If this dog judges me, at least it'll be in a language I understand. Zoe laughed. You're terrified of chihuahuas. That's different. Chihuahuas are demons. Camille stood up, started looking for her nice clothes. This is just a poodle. How bad could it be? 2 hours later, Camille stood outside Sterling's building, looking up and up, glass and steel, Tribeca, the kind of building that had art in the lobby. She took a deep breath, checked her reflection in the glass doors. The shoes were old, the bag was older, but she'd tried. A doorman appeared, full uniform, looking at her like she'd wandered into the wrong neighborhood. Can I help you? I'm here to walk a dog. Another one. He checked his clipboard. You're number 16. Is that bad? Let's just say we have a betting pool. On what? How long you last? I have 5 minutes. Camille followed him. Inside. The elevator ride felt endless. She checked her reflection again in the mirror, straightened her shirt, practiced her smile. She whispered to herself, "D'accord, Camille. It's just a dog, a very rich dog, with a very rich owner who has rejected 15 people. No pressure. Don't mention the rent. Don't mention you ate ramen for 3 days. Be professional. You can do this. Just smile. And don't mention Foucault. Rich people don't like Foucault. Oh God, why did I think of Foucault? Now I'm going to mention Foucault. I'm going to ruin this." The elevator dinged. Penthouse. The doors opened. Sterling was standing right there, like he'd been waiting. Dark hair slightly messy, business casual, exhausted eyes, and behind him, sitting perfectly still, was Margot, white Poodle, groomed within an inch of her life and staring directly at Camille. "I'm here about the dog walking position," Camille said. "Right, come in. I should warn you." "Oh." Margot stood, walked forward, slowly, stopped 3 feet away from Camille. The stare was intense, evaluating, judging. Sterling ran his hand through his hair again. "I should explain. She was raised in Paris. My ex brought her from France 2 years ago. She's very particular." "Particular how?" 15 people have tried. She's refused all of them." "How does a dog refuse?" "You'll see." He gestured awkwardly toward Margot. "She only responds to judgment and disappointment. Mostly judgment." Camille almost smiled. "Sounds like my dissertation committee." Sterling looked at her, really looked at her. "You're in school?" "PhD, French literature, year 6. "That's impressive." "That's expensive, which is why I'm here." She crouched down to Margot's level, looked the Poodle directly in the eyes. Then she switched to French. Perfect, fluent, Parisian French. "Bonjour Margot. Je suis Camille. On m'a dit que tu es une chienne très difficile." "C'est bon. Moi aussi je suis difficile. We'll get along." Margot's ears perked up, forward, alert. She walked closer, sat down, made direct eye contact. Sterling's jaw dropped. "She's sitting," he said. "I can see that." "No, you don't understand. She never sits, not for anyone, not since, oh." He stopped, stared. "What did you say to her?" Camille spoke softly to Margot again in French. "Tu es belle. Very sophisticated. And you know it, don't you?" Margot's tail moved, just slightly. "I told her she's beautiful and sophisticated," Camille said to Sterling. "And that she knows it." It took 30 words. French is an elaborate language. Everything takes 30 words. Sterling kept staring at Margot, who was still sitting, still making eye contact with Camille, still not moving. "You're hired," he said. "Don't you want to see me walk her first?" "She's been sitting perfectly for 3 minutes. That's 45 minutes longer than anyone else achieved." He ran his hand through his hair again, nervous. "You're hired. I haven't asked about pay." "What's your rent?" Camille blinked. "I'm sorry? Your rent, what is it?" "I don't see how that's relevant." "Humor me. $1,800. $2,000 a week. That's a..." Camille stood up fast. "I can't accept that." "You can and you will. Margot has spoken." He gestured toward the door. "Start tomorrow at 3 p.m. "Tomorrow at 3. "Yes, tomorrow, 3 p.m. He paused, turned slightly red. "You, Margot. You'll walk Margot. At 3 tomorrow." "Yes, that's how dog walking works." He turned redder. "Right, yes, obviously." Camille bit back a smile. "I'll see you tomorrow, Mr. Whitmore." "Sterling, it's Sterling." "I'll see you tomorrow, Sterling." She walked to the elevator, pressed the button, glanced back. He was still standing there, staring. Margot sat beside him, still not judging. The next day, Camille arrived at exactly 3 p.m. Sterling opened the door before she could knock. "You're very punctual," he said. "I'm French. We take time seriously." "I thought the French were always late." "That's a stereotype. We're fashionably late. There's a difference. What's the difference? Intent. They rode the elevator down in silence, Margot between them, behaving perfectly. Sterling kept glancing at Camille, then looking away, then glancing again. So, he said, French literature. Yes. What's your dissertation about? The evolution of the French novel after Sartre, specifically how existentialism influenced narrative structure in the 1960s. That sounds fascinating. Most people say that right before they change the subject. I'm not most people. No, Camille said, looking at his building, his clothes, his obvious wealth. You're really not. They stepped outside. The afternoon sun was bright, Tribeca streets busy with people who had places to be. Camille started walking, started talking. To Margot, in French first, then English. So, Margot, let me tell you about Camus. He believed in the absurd. You know absurd? Like your owner spending $2,000 a week on a dog walker. Sterling, walking slightly behind, cleared his throat. I can hear you. I know. I was hoping you would. Margot walked perfectly, no pulling, no stopping. Just elegant movement beside Camille. You actually discuss philosophy with her? Sterling asked. Why not? She listens better than most students. Does she understand? She understands tone and French, and that I respect her intelligence. Camille looked at him. Most people think she's just a dog. Most people are wrong about most things. They reached a small park, a bench. Camille sat. Margot sat beside her. Sterling stood awkwardly for a moment, then sat on the other end of the bench. Can I ask you something? He said. About Margot? About you. Why French literature? Camille smiled. Because French is beautiful, and literature is humanity trying to understand itself. She paused. Also, I was young and idealistic. And now I'm old and eating ramen, but I still love Sartre. You're not old. I'm in year 6 of a PhD. I'm ancient in academic years. Sterling laughed. Actually laughed. Margot looked up at the sound, surprised. She's never heard you laugh, Camille said. I don't laugh much. You should. It's nice. They sat there, the three of them. Afternoon sun, city noise around them, comfortable silence. We should head back, Sterling finally said. I have a meeting. Do you? No. But I thought I should say that. Why? Because I don't want you to think I'm the kind of person who cancels meetings to sit on park benches with his dog walker. But you are that person? Apparently. They walked back to his building. Margot still perfect, still not pulling. At the entrance, Sterling stopped, looked at Camille, looked at Margot, back to Camille. Same time tomorrow? He asked. That's how weekly schedules work. Right, yes, obviously. He cleared his throat. I meant see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, Sterling. Camille walked away, got to the corner, looked back. He was still standing there, watching. And in the window of his penthouse 20 stories up, she could see him walk to the glass. Stand there, look down at the street. She smiled to herself. Margot had approved, but something told her Margot wasn't the only one. Day 3, 3 p.m. Sterling stood at his penthouse window, laptop open on the table behind him, video call with Marcus still running. Sir, Marcus said from the screen, you've canceled 3 investor meetings this week. I'm supervising the dog walker. The dog walker you already paid $2,000 to. Margot is valuable. Margot is a dog. Sterling didn't move from the window. Down below on the street, he could see Camille. She was talking to Margot, animated, hands moving. The dog was actually paying attention. Sir, is that what you've been watching? Sterling turned. Marcus was leaning forward on the screen, looking at something behind Sterling. Probably the window. I'm ensuring quality care, Sterling said. Of course you are. Marcus smiled. Sir, I can see them on your window reflection. That's what you've been, oh? Sterling closed the laptop. Fast. Then realized Marcus was still on the call. Sir, you didn't disconnect. I can still hear you. How do I, oh? The red button, like I've shown you 40 times. Sterling found the button. The call ended. He looked back out the window. Camille was looking up, right at him. She waved. He ducked away from the window. Too late. She was smiling. He could see it even from 20 stories up. Down on the street, Camille was talking to Margot in French, then switching to English. He's watching again, she said to herself. Quiet. Third day. Is he checking on you or? No, it's you. Obviously you. Very expensive. Dog. Must supervise. Must ensure quality care. Must he? I heard that. Camille jumped. Sterling was standing right there, at the building entrance. How did he? You were just upstairs, she said. Fast elevator. Were you listening to me talk to myself? You do that a lot. It's a French thing. Is it? No, it's a me thing. I'm working on it. Sterling almost smiled. Don't. Don't work on it? It's charming. Camille felt her face get warm. You came downstairs to tell me that? I came downstairs to bring you coffee. He held up a cup. For the dog walker. She took it, sipped, tried not to make a face. Failed. It's bad, isn't it? Sterling said. It's unique. That's what people say when something is terrible. I didn't want to be rude. Margot walked over, sniffed the coffee cup, turned away. The look on her face was unmistakable. Even the dog hates it, Sterling said. The dog has excellent taste. Camille looked at Margot, then at Sterling. Is she always this judgmental? Always. That's her judgment face. You'll learn to recognize it. I feel like she's judging my entire life. She is, but she likes you. That's rare. How can you tell? She didn't turn her back on you. That's her highest compliment. They stood there. Afternoon sun. People walking past. Margot sitting between them, looking back and forth like she was watching a tennis match. So, Sterling said, how was the walk? Good. We discussed Camus. The dog understands Camus. The dog understands tone, and that I take her seriously. That's more than most people do. Most people are idiots. Sterling laughed. Margot's ears perked up at the sound. Again, like yesterday. You should laugh more, Camille said. She likes it. She likes when I'm embarrassed too. Watch. He adjusted his collar, turned slightly red. Margot's tail moved. See? Camille said. She's entertained. She's judging. Maybe both. 2 days later, day 5. 3 p.m. Camille arrived at Sterling's building. He was already at the door, before she could knock, like he'd been waiting. Do you always answer the door? She asked. I was nearby. In your own penthouse? It's a big penthouse. I could have been far away. Were you? No. Margot appeared behind him, ready, leash already on. Are you working from home again? Camille asked. Sterling cleared his throat. I had a conference call. That required the living room and natural light at 3 p.m. That's very specific. I'm a specific person. Margot walked between them, sat down, looked at Sterling, then at Camille, then back at Sterling. Your dog is judging us, Camille said. She does that. Both of us? She's an equal opportunity judge. They started walking, out of the building, down the street, same route as the past 4 days. Can I come with you? Sterling asked suddenly. On the walk? Camille looked at him. It's your dog. Right, but you're the professional. You've never walked with us before. Margot seemed anxious today. Margot was walking perfectly, relaxed, not anxious at all. She seems fine, Camille said. Anticipatory anxiety, it's subtle. You're making that up. Completely, Camille smiled. Okay, you can come. They walked, the three of them, Camille in the middle, Margot on her left, Sterling on her right. Awkward silence. He kept glancing at her. She kept pretending not to notice. So, what do you actually do? Camille finally asked. Besides watch your dog walker from the window? I wasn't watching, I was supervising. That's watching. It's professional observation. It's watching. Sterling sighed. Fine, I was watching. You're interesting. I talk to dogs about dead philosophers. That's not interesting, that's concerning. It's both. They reached the small park, the same bench as day one, sat down, Margot between them, content. Sterling looked at his hands, then at Camille. My ex said I was boring, he said quietly. Camille turned to face him. Your ex left Margot behind, so your ex has terrible judgment. You barely know me. I know you've been trying to make Margot happy for 3 weeks. 15 rejected dog walkers, and you kept trying. That's not boring. She said I was predictable, too focused on work, not spontaneous. Spontaneous is overrated. Is it? I'm eating ramen for the 3rd time this week because I spontaneously decided to get a PhD in French literature. Predictable would have been getting a real job. Sterling almost smiled. Do you regret it? Ask me when I'm not broke. You're not broke anymore. I'm less broke. There's a difference. Day 7, 3 p.m. Camille brought Zoe. Sterling opened the door, saw 2 people instead of 1, looked confused. This is Zoe, Camille said, my roommate. She wanted to meet Margot. The famous Margot, Zoe said. The dog who's rejected more people than Tinder, Sterling said. Zoe laughed. I like him already. Margot appeared, walked forward, stopped in front of Zoe, stared. Hello, Your Highness, Zoe said to the dog. I've heard you're very judgmental. Margot did the face. The look, pure evaluation. Zoe's eyes went wide. Oh my God, she is judging me. I feel like I'm failing an exam I didn't study for. That's her resting face, Camille said. That's terrifying. They all went down together, started walking. Zoe hung back slightly, watching Sterling and Camille. Sterling was looking at Camille every few seconds. Camille was explaining something about existentialism to Margot. Sterling was hanging on every word. Zoe cleared her throat, loud. He's staring at you, she whispered to Camille. He's watching Margot. He's watching you walk Margot. It's the same thing. It's absolutely not the same thing. Sterling cleared his throat. I can hear both of you. Zoe turned to him directly. Good. Then you can hear me say, your coffee last week was terrible. I know. Margot told me. The dog told you? Judgment face, it was very clear. Zoe smiled. I like him. He admits his failures. Thank you. So how long have you been working from home? Zoe asked. Sterling turned red. I have flexible hours. Very flexible. Very specifically at 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. What a coincidence. It's efficient. That's not what efficient means. Zoe, Camille said, stop interrogating him. I'm not interrogating, I'm observing. Zoe looked at Sterling. Like you observe from your window. I don't, Sterling stopped, sighed. How did you know about the window? Camille told me. You've been working from home for a week, every day at 3 p.m. That's very dedicated supervision of a dog walker you already trust. I'm thorough. You're smitten. Sterling's face went from red to crimson. Camille covered her mouth, trying not to laugh. Is she always like this? Sterling asked. Camille. Always. I like him, Zoe announced. He blushes easily. That's trustworthy. How is that trustworthy? Because liars don't blush, they have no shame. Zoe patted his arm. You have plenty of shame. You're good people. They walked for another 20 minutes. Zoe asking questions, Sterling answering honestly, Camille watching both of them, Margot behaving perfectly. Back at Camille's apartment that evening, Zoe stood in front of her. He's in love with you, Zoe said. He's concerned about his dog. He's concerned about you walking his dog. There's a difference. You're reading into things. He's been working from home for a week just to see you for 30 minutes a day. I'm not reading into things. I'm reading the obvious. He's a millionaire. I eat ramen. So, maybe he likes ramen. Nobody likes ramen. Exactly. So maybe he likes you. Day 10, 3 p.m. Camille arrived at Sterling's building. He was waiting outside, in the cold, no coat. The doorman was standing nearby, looking concerned. Sir, this is the 4th day you've waited outside, the doorman said. I'm getting fresh air. It's 40 degrees. I like the cold. The doorman saw Camille approaching, nodded at her, walked back inside, shaking his head. You're outside today, Camille said. I was just getting Margot. You don't have Margot. I was about to get Margot. By standing outside in the cold? It's a process. Camille smiled. A process? Yes. What kind of process? The kind where I wait outside because I didn't want to seem too eager when you arrived. And how's that working? Terribly. I'm freezing. They went upstairs, got Margot, came back down, started walking. Camille was explaining Sartre to Margot, in English this time, something about existence preceding essence. Like man is condemned to be free? Sterling said suddenly. Camille stopped walking. You know Sartre? I may have looked him up. You looked up Sartre? I wanted to understand what you were talking about. When? Every day for the past week. Camille stared at him. You've been reading Sartre? For me? For context. I wanted to understand why you light up when you talk about it. I light up? You do? Even Margot notices. She walks better when you're explaining philosophy. The dog understands philosophy? The dog understands passion. Sterling looked at her. Really looked at her. So do I. They stood there, middle of the sidewalk, people walking around them, Margot sitting patiently. Your ex said you were boring? Camille asked quietly. Yes. Your ex was an idiot. She said I needed to be more spontaneous, more creative, less focused on work. You're reading French existentialism to understand your dog walker. That's pretty spontaneous. Is it? It's something. Camille smiled. It's definitely something. They kept walking, reached the park, the bench, their bench now, apparently. Sterling was nervous, she could tell. He kept adjusting his collar, clearing his throat. Can I ask you something? He finally said. About Margot? About you and me and coffee. That's 3 things. Can I buy you coffee, real coffee, not whatever that tragedy was last week? Camille turned to look at him. Is this about Margot? No. This is about you and me. And the fact that I've been pretending to work from home for 2 weeks just to hear you talk about Camus. 2 weeks? Marcus is threatening to stage an intervention. Who's Marcus? My assistant. He's aware I'm being ridiculous. You are being ridiculous. I know. Sterling looked at his hands, then at her. Coffee anyway. Camille felt something flip in her chest, something warm. Coffee, she said. Tomorrow after the walk? Tomorrow after the walk. It's not about Margot. I know. I just want to talk to you without the dog, though Margot can come if you want. She can't come. This is our thing. Our thing? Coffee, just us. Camille smiled. Unless you need Margot there for moral support? I might. You'll be fine. They stood up, started walking back, Margot between them. Margot stopped suddenly, sat down, looked at both of them. Not the judgment face, something else, something softer. "She's not judging," Sterling said quietly. "Is that good? That's revolutionary." They walked back to his building, said goodbye. Camille started walking home. She got to the corner, looked back. He was at the window again, 20 stories up, watching. She waved. He waved back. And for the first time in 6 years of her PhD, eating ramen in a studio apartment with $47 in her bank account, Camille felt like maybe everything was going to be okay. Day 11, after the walk, a coffee shop in Tribeca. Camille sat across from Sterling. Actual nice coffee shop. The kind with a menu that didn't list prices because if you had to ask, you couldn't afford it. She was looking at the menu, hesitating. Sterling noticed. "Order anything?" he said. "I'm fine with regular coffee." "You were just explaining Derrida to a poodle. You deserve more than regular coffee." Derrida would say the concept of deserving is a social construct. Derrida never met Margot. The barista appeared, young woman with purple hair, waiting. Camille said something in French, fast. Sterling nodded like he understood. "Regular coffee, please," Camille said to the barista. "She'll have the lavender latte," Sterling said. "Large." Camille looked at him. "I didn't order that." "I know. But you were looking at it. You don't know what I said in French. I know you were commenting on the price. How? Your face. You do this thing where your eyebrows go up when you're calculating costs." The barista left. Camille stared at Sterling. "I have an eyebrow thing? You absolutely have an eyebrow thing." "I do not." "You did it just now when she said, the total." Camille put her face in her hands. "This is humiliating. It's adorable. That's worse." The coffee arrived. Lavender latte. Actually beautiful. Camille took a sip, closed her eyes. "Okay," she said, "that's really good. Better than emergency ramen? Everything is better than emergency ramen." They sat there, comfortable, like they'd done this 100 times instead of once. "Tell me about your dissertation," Sterling said. "You really want to know? I've been listening to you explain it to my dog for 2 weeks. Yes, I want to know. It's about the evolution of the French novel after Sartre, specifically how existentialism influenced narrative structure in the 1960s. That sounds fascinating. It sounds boring. I'm in year 6. I should have been done 3 years ago. What happened? Life? Money?" Camille wrapped both hands around her cup. "The adjunct teaching market is terrible. I keep taking on extra work to pay rent, which means less time for writing, which means more time in the program, which means more tuition. It's a very French kind of absurd." "Sartre would approve," Camille laughed. "Sartre would say I'm experiencing bad faith." "What's that?" "Lying to yourself about your freedom, pretending you have no choice when you actually do." "Are you?" "Probably. I could quit, get a real job, stop eating ramen. But then I'd be the person who gave up on French literature." "And you're not that person." "Not yet." Sterling leaned forward. "You won't be. You're too stubborn." "Is that a compliment?" "From me?" "Yes." 2 hours passed. 2 hours of talking about her dissertation, about French novels, about why Camus was better than Sartre, then worse than Sartre, then equal to Sartre. The barista started cleaning up around them, pointedly. "I should let you go," Sterling said. "You should. I have papers to grade. And I have a conference call I've rescheduled 3 times. Neither of them moved." "This was nice," Camille said. "It was. We should do it again. Tomorrow, after the walk?" "That's very predictable of you." "I thought you didn't like surprises." "I never said that." "Your face did, the eyebrow thing." I'm going to be self-conscious about my eyebrows for the rest of my life. Good. They're expressive. Sterling walked her to the subway, stood there at the entrance, not wanting to leave. Your turn tomorrow, Camille said. Tell me about the ex who left Margot. That's a short story. I doubt that. Tomorrow, then. Tomorrow. She went down the stairs, looked back. He was still standing there, watching. Day 14, 3 p.m. walk, 2 weeks into their routine now. Sterling had stopped making excuses, just openly joined the walks. Every day. No explanation. They were walking through a different neighborhood. Camille wanted to show Margot new things, keep her stimulated. Camille stepped in a puddle. Her shoe made a sound. A bad sound. Merde, she said under her breath. What's wrong? Nothing. My shoe just, She looked down. The sole was separating. It's fine. Sterling looked at her shoe, then at her face. Your shoe is falling apart. It's old. I'm getting new ones. When? Soon. Define soon. When I can afford them. Camila, don't. I don't need charity. It's not charity. You walk 10 miles a day with my dog. Your dog, exactly. You pay me very generously for that. Not generously enough if your shoes are falling apart. Camille stopped walking. We're not having this conversation. We're having this conversation. I'm walking away now. With broken shoes. With character-building shoes. That's not a thing. It is now, she whispered to herself. Quiet, but not quiet enough. New shoes are $80. Rent is due next week. Papers take priority. The shoes can wait. They're fine. They're fine. Sterling heard every word. I heard that. Of course, you did. How much are new shoes? We're done with this topic. Camila, Sterling, I appreciate the concern, but I'm fine. The shoes are fine. Everything is fine. Margot stopped walking, sat down, refused to move. Sterling and Camille both stared at her. Why won't you move? Sterling asked the dog. Camille crouched down, spoke to Margot in French, asked her what was wrong. Margot looked at Camille's shoes, then at Sterling, then back at the shoes. She's judging your shoes, Sterling said. The dog is judging my shoes? She has opinions about everything. She's a dog. She's a French dog. There's a difference. Camille stood up. This is ridiculous. Let me help, Sterling said quietly. You are helping. You pay me $2,000 a week. That's for Margot. Exactly. This would be for you. I don't need saving. I'm not trying to save you. I'm trying to... He stopped, ran his hand through his hair. I don't know what I'm trying to do. Figure it out, Camille said. Then we'll talk. Day 16, pouring rain, 3 p.m. Camille showed up anyway, soaking wet, shoes completely done now, literally falling apart. Sterling was waiting at the door, with a towel. You're not walking in this, he said. It's my job. It's dangerous. It's rain, not a hurricane. Your shoes are... I know what my shoes are. We're going. Margot appeared behind Sterling, looked at the rain, looked at them, turned around, walked back inside. Even Margot agrees, Sterling said. Margot is a coward. Margot is sensible. Come inside, dry off. We'll walk later. Sterling. Please. Something in his voice. Camille looked at him, really looked. He was worried, actually worried. Okay, she said quietly. Okay. Inside his apartment, he gave her a towel, then clothes, his clothes, sweatshirt, sweatpants. Bathroom is there, he said. Change, please. She did. Came out swimming in his clothes, sleeves, past her hands. Pants rolled up 3 times. Sterling stared. I look ridiculous, Camille said. You look He stopped, cleared his throat. Comfortable. That's a diplomatic word. I was going to say cute. Cute is what you say to dogs. I never call Margot cute. She'd judge me. Camille laughed, sat down on his couch. Margot immediately climbed up next to her. Fell asleep against her leg. Sterling sat on the other end, rain against the windows. City sounds muted. Thank you, Camille said, for the clothes, for letting me in. Of course. They sat in comfortable silence. Then Camille spoke. Why are you doing this? Giving you dry clothes? All of it. The walks, the coffee, caring about my shoes. Sterling looked at his hands. Because I like you. You don't know me. I know you discuss existentialism with my dog. I know you show up in the rain. I know you're too proud to ask for help even when you need it. I know you light up when you talk about French novels. I know enough. We're very different. Yes. You're rich, I'm broke. Yes. You live in a penthouse. I live in a studio with a roommate and a judgmental cat. Is the cat as judgmental as Margot? Nobody is as judgmental as Margot. Good point. I'm being serious. So am I. The money doesn't matter. The money always matters. Not to me. Not with you. Camille pulled her knees up, wrapped her arms around them. My parents keep asking when I'll get a real job, when I'll come home to Lion, when I'll stop wasting my life on books nobody reads. Do you want to go home? No. But I don't know if staying is brave or stupid. It's brave. How do you know? Because stupid would be giving up on something you love just because it's hard. You're not doing that. I walk dogs for rent money. You're finishing a PhD while walking dogs for rent money. There's a difference. She looked at him. He was looking at her. They were close. Closer than they'd been before, leaning in. Margot barked. They jumped apart. Margot was sitting up, staring at both of them, not judging, something else, something like satisfaction. Did she just, Camille started, interrupt on purpose? Yes. Why? Because she's Margot. She does what she wants. Camille stood up. I should go. The rain stopped. Sterling looked at the window. Rain was still coming down, hard. Did it? No, but I should go anyway. Keep the clothes, I have more. I'll wash them. Keep them, please. Tomorrow? Tomorrow. She left. Sterling stood at the window, watched her disappear down the street, in his clothes, in the rain. Margot came and sat beside him. I know, Sterling said to the dog. I'm an idiot. Margot's tail moved. Agreement. Day 18. Morning. Before walk time. Marcus was in Sterling's penthouse. For a meeting. That Sterling was ignoring. Sir, Marcus said, you've looked at your watch 7 times in 10 minutes. Have I? You have a meeting with Wellington Partners at 3. Reschedule. That's the 4th time I've rescheduled Wellington. So make it 5. Sir, they're threatening to pull their investment. Then they can pull it. Marcus closed his laptop, leaned forward. Sir, what's more important than a $50 million investment? Sterling looked at his watch again. A walk. A walk. With my dog. Your dog who you never walked before 3 weeks ago? Margot enjoys routine. Sir, Sterling sighed, put down his coffee. Fine. I want to see Camille. Happy? The dog walker. She's not just a dog walker. What is she? She's a... Sterling stopped, thought about it. Smart, funny, real. She treats me like I'm normal. You're a millionaire. You're not normal. Exactly. And she doesn't care. She argues with me. She makes fun of my coffee. She speaks French to my dog. She showed up in the rain with broken shoes because she needed the money, but wouldn't ask for help. She's, everything? Yes. Marcus smiled. Then ask her out properly. I have coffee. We've had coffee 4 times. Coffee is not a date, dinner. Take her to dinner. What if she says no? Sir, you've built a $200 million fund from nothing. You can ask one woman to dinner. The fund was easier. I believe that. Sterling looked at his watch again. 2:45. Go, Marcus said. I'll handle Wellington. Are you sure? Sir, you've been useless for 3 weeks. Go see the woman. Maybe you'll start being productive again. Thank you, Marcus. And sir, when you ask her to dinner, don't go through the dog this time. Day 19. 3 p.m. Sterling was nervous. Camille noticed immediately. You're nervous today. Am I? You keep doing this thing with your collar. What thing? This. She mimicked him, adjusting, fidgeting. I don't do that. You absolutely do that. Margot stopped, sat. Sterling. Pure judgment face. Even Margot agrees, Camille said. She's judging me. What are you nervous about? They were walking through the park, their bench ahead. Sterling's heart was racing. He murmured to himself, quiet, but she heard. Just ask. 3 words. Dinner with me. Easy. You've pitched to billionaires. You can ask one woman to dinner. Just say it. Don't be weird. Too late. Already weird. I can hear you rehearsing, Camille said. She was smiling. I know. I'm doing it anyway. What are you asking? Dinner, Friday, no dog. Camille looked at Margot. You want to have dinner without Margot? She'll survive. Will you? Probably not, but I'm asking anyway. They reached the bench, sat down, Margot between them as always. Is this about Margot? Camille asked. No. This is about me wanting to take you somewhere nice and talk about things that have nothing to do with dogs or philosophy. We always talk about philosophy. Exactly, I talk about you, your life, your dreams, what you want after the PhD, if you like Paris better than New York, if you've ever been to Italy, what your favorite movie is, anything, everything. Camille was quiet. Sterling started panicking. Unless you don't want to, he said quickly. That's fine. We can keep doing coffee or just walks, whatever you want. I didn't mean to pressure Friday, Camille said. Sterling stopped talking. What? Yes, Friday dinner, no dog, just us. Really? But I get to pick the restaurant. Why? Because you'll pick somewhere expensive and I'll spend the whole dinner calculating how many months of rent it costs. That's probably accurate. I know, so I pick. Deal. Margot stood up, walked perfectly between them, tail up, not judging. She's not judging, Sterling said. That's her approval face. She has an approval face? Apparently, I've never seen it before. Neither have I. They walked back. Sterling kept glancing at Camille. She kept glancing back. At his building, they stood there, not wanting to say goodbye. Friday then, Camille said. Friday. Pick me up at 7. I'll be there at 6:55. That's very punctual. I'm a punctual person. When it matters? Yes, when it matters. She walked away, got to the corner, looked back. He was still standing there, watching, always watching. She waved. He waved back. And for the first time since asking her to dinner, Sterling could breathe again. Inside his apartment, Margot was sitting on the couch, looking at him. I did it, Sterling said to the dog. I asked her, properly, without going through you. Margot's tail moved. You approve? Another tail movement. Good, because I'm terrified. Margot walked over, put her head against his leg, the closest thing to affection she'd ever shown him. Thank you, Sterling said quietly, for being impossible, for rejecting 15 people, for only accepting her. Thank you. Margot looked up at him, and for the first time in 2 years, Sterling thought maybe his ex was wrong. Maybe he wasn't boring. Maybe he just needed the right person to be interesting for. Friday morning, day 25, 10 a.m. Camille had a class that ended early, near Sterling's building. She decided to stop by, confirm dinner details, make sure he had her address. She walked into the lobby. The doorman waved. He knew her now, called her Miss Dubois, had stopped betting against her. She heard Sterling's voice, on his phone, near the elevators. She should have announced herself, should have said something, but she didn't. "It's just temporary," Sterling said into the phone. "The arrangement works for now, but I can't keep doing this forever." Camille froze. Marcus's voice came through the speaker. "Sir, you've been working from home for a month. I know. I need to find a permanent solution." "What kind of solution?" "I don't know, something that doesn't involve making excuses to see her every day. You could just tell her how you feel." "And say what? I've been rearranging my entire life to watch you walk my dog. That's insane." "It's honest. It's pathetic." Camille backed away. Quiet, heart in her throat, temporary arrangement, permanent solution, pathetic. She left before he could see her. At her apartment, Zoe found her sitting on the couch, still in her nice jacket, staring at nothing. "What happened?" Zoe asked. "I heard him on the phone." "Saying what?" "That the arrangement is temporary, that he needs a permanent solution, that he's been making excuses." Zoe sat down. "Maybe he meant I know what he meant. I'm the temporary dog walker. He's been humoring me." "That doesn't make sense." "It makes perfect sense. I'm a broke PhD student who talks to his dog about Sartre. He's a millionaire. What was I thinking?" "You were thinking he liked you. He liked watching me walk his dog. There's a difference." "Camille, I need to be professional. Just walk the dog, no coffee, no conversations, just the job. You're going to break his heart. He's a millionaire. He'll be fine." Her phone buzzed. Sterling. "Still good for tonight? I made reservations at 7. She stared at the message. Typed back. "Something came up. Need to reschedule. Sorry." 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. "Is everything okay?" "Yes, just busy. Talk later." She turned off her phone. Zoe looked at the dress hanging on the door. The one Camille had borrowed. Ready for tonight. "You got dressed up and then canceled?" Zoe said quietly. "I'm fine." "You're not fine." "I will be." Sterling sat in the restaurant. 7 p.m. reservation for 2. His phone on the table. Her message still on the screen. Marcus called. "Sir, she canceled?" "She said something came up." "What did you do?" "Nothing. We were supposed to have dinner." "Did you say something stupid?" "When?" "Ever. Probably, I don't know. Everything was fine this morning." "Then what changed?" "I have no idea." Marcus was quiet for a moment. "Want me to reschedule Wellington again?" "No. Do the meeting. I'll figure this out." Monday, day 28, 3 p.m. Camille showed up exactly on time. Professional clothes, hair pulled back, no smile. Sterling opened the door. "You're here. It's Monday, 3 p.m. About Friday." "It's fine. Things happen." "Can we reschedule?" "I don't think that's a good idea." "Why not?" "Let's just keep this professional." "Professional?" "I walk your dog, you pay me, that's the arrangement." Sterling stepped back like she'd hit him. "Camilo, I need to go. Margot needs her walk." She didn't talk to Margot. Not in French, not in English, just walked. Silence. Sterling followed. He didn't even make an excuse this time, just followed. The silence was awful. Margot kept looking back at both of them, confused. "Margot is doing the face," Sterling finally said. "What face?" "Judgment. She's judging us. She's a dog. She's a French dog who knows when something is wrong." "Nothing is wrong. Everything is wrong. You won't look at me." "I'm looking at you right now. You're looking past me." Camille stopped walking. "I need to go. It's only been 10 minutes. I have papers to grade." "No, you don't. You grade on Wednesdays." "How do you know that?" "Because I pay attention. Because I listen. Because He stopped. "Because what?" "Nothing. I'll see you tomorrow." Tuesday, day 29, 3 p.m. Camille arrived. Margot was waiting, but when Camille put on the leash, Margot sat down, refused to move. Margot, allons-y, Camille said in French. Nothing. Margot, walk, now. Margot turned her head away. Sterling came to the door. What's wrong? She won't move. I can see that. Is she sick? She's not sick, she's judging. Dogs don't judge. This one does. They stood there. Hallway. Margot sitting, refusing, maximum judgment face. Marcus appeared from the elevator, briefcase in hand, stopped when he saw them. Sir, Wellington is on video AORO. He looked at Margot. Why is the dog in the hallway? She won't walk. Have you tried asking nicely? Camille asked in French. Marcus looked at Camille, then at Sterling, then at the dog. You're the famous dog walker, Marcus said. I'm just the dog walker. The one he's been a... Marcus stopped, looked at Sterling's face. Right. None of my business. He crouched down to Margot's level. What's wrong with you? Margot looked at Sterling, then at Camille, then back at Sterling. Marcus stood up slowly. Oh. What? Sterling said. She's not going to walk until you two figure out whatever this is. That's ridiculous, Camille said. Sir, even the dog knows you're being an idiot. Sterling turned red. Marcus, What happened? Marcus asked, looking between them. Nothing, Camille said. Friday, Sterling said at the same time. Marcus looked at Sterling. Friday, when you were supposed to have dinner. She canceled. I heard you on the phone, Camille said quietly. Friday morning, in the lobby. Sterling's face went blank. What phone call? You said the arrangement was temporary, that you needed a permanent solution, that you were done with, oh... She stopped. With me. Oh my God. What? I was talking about working from home, not you. Camille stared at him. What? I was telling Marcus I can't keep making excuses to work from home just to see you for 30 minutes a day. That I needed a permanent solution, like actually dating you. Like asking you out properly instead of going through my dog. The hallway was silent. Marcus cleared his throat. I'm going to go, and pretend I didn't hear any of this. He left. Elevator doors closed. Sterling and Camille stood there, Margot still sitting, still refusing. You thought I was replacing you? Sterling asked quietly. Yes. Why would I replace you? Because I'm a... She gestured at herself. This. And you're you. I don't understand. I'm broke, Sterling. I eat ramen. I have broken shoes. I live in a studio with a roommate. You're a millionaire who lives in a penthouse. This doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense to me. How? Because you're the only person who treats me like I'm normal, who argues with me, who showed up in the rain, who speaks French to my dog and makes me want to read Sartre. He stopped, took a breath. Who I've been in love with since day 3 when you called me out for watching from the window. Camille's eyes went wide. Day 3? Day 3. That's pathetic, I know, but there it is. I was going to say fast. Also accurate. They looked at each other. Margot looked at both of them. Then Margot stood up, tail wagging. Finally. She's moving, Camille said. She approves of honesty. Apparently. Sterling ran his hand through his hair. So, dinner? Can we try again? Yes. Really? But you need to explain something first. Anything. Why did you say it was pathetic? On the phone. You said telling me how you feel was pathetic. Because I thought you'd think it was pathetic, not because I thought it was. I don't think it's pathetic. You don't? I think it's Camille smiled. Actually kind of wonderful. That evening, pouring rain. Again, Camille was in her apartment trying to study, failing. There was a knock on the door. She opened it. Sterling was standing there, soaking wet. completely drenched. Margot was with him, wearing a tiny raincoat, also soaking wet. Camille stared, tried not to laugh. Failed. "You're soaking wet," she said. "I am." "You walked here?" Margot insisted. The dog insisted? "She hasn't walked since Tuesday. She was getting judgmental about it. It's pouring rain." "I noticed. Why didn't you drive?" "Because I'm an idiot. Can I come in?" She stepped aside. He came in, dripping on her floor. Margot shook off water everywhere. Zoe appeared from behind the room divider, saw them, grabbed her bag. "I'm going to the library," Zoe announced, "and for several hours, maybe overnight." "Zoe, oh, nope, leaving, fix this." She looked at Sterling. "And your coffee really was terrible." She left. Sterling stood there, water pooling around his expensive shoes. "I need to explain," he said. "You don't I do. You heard me say temporary arrangement and permanent solution, and you thought I was replacing you." "Yes. I was talking about working from home, about making excuses to see you, about the fact that I've been lying to my assistant for a month so I can watch you walk my dog for 30 minutes a day. That's, pathetic, I know. I was going to say sweet." "Really?" "Also pathetic, but mostly sweet." Sterling took a step closer. "I told Marcus I had a conference call, every day, at 3 p.m. for a month. He knew I was lying." "Why didn't you just ask me out?" "Because I'm bad at this. Because my ex said I was boring and predictable. Because I thought you'd say no." "I wouldn't have said no. How was I supposed to know that?" "You could have asked. I'm asking now. Dinner. Real dinner. No dog." Margot sat down between them, judgment face at maximum. Sterling looked at the dog. "Fine. Dinner with the dog. She's not going to let this go." "She can't come. This is our thing." "Our thing?" "Dinner. Just us." Camille smiled. "Unless you need Margot there for moral support?" "I might. You'll be fine." "Will I?" "Yes." Sterling was still dripping. She was still in dry clothes. They were close now, closer than they'd been since the rainy day in his apartment. "I'm sorry," he said, "for making you think I wanted to replace you, for being unclear, for..." She kissed him, just kissed him, in her tiny apartment, while he was soaking wet, while Margot watched. When she pulled back, he was staring at her. "You kissed me," he said. "I did." "Why?" "Because you walked here in the rain, with your dog in a raincoat, to apologize for something that was mostly a misunderstanding." "That's a good reason?" "That's a great reason," Margot barked. Not judgment. Approval. "Your dog just approved," Camille said. "First time ever. We should celebrate." "How? Ramen?" Sterling laughed. "I can afford better than ramen." "But can you make better than ramen?" "Absolutely not." "Then ramen it is." They made ramen, in her tiny kitchen, Margot sitting between them, watching, approving. Sterling was still in wet clothes. Camille gave him one of Zoe's sweatshirts. It was too small. He looked ridiculous. "This is the best night I've had in 2 years," he said. "We're eating emergency noodles in a studio apartment." "I know. Your penthouse is better. My penthouse is empty." He looked at her. "This isn't." They ate ramen, talked until midnight, about everything, about nothing. Margot fell asleep on the couch, which was also the bed, which was also the only furniture. "I should go," Sterling finally said. "Let you sleep." "You should." He stood up. So did she. They were at the door. "Dinner Friday?" he asked. "For real this time?" "Friday. I'll pick you up at 7. You'll be here at 6:55. "Probably 6:50. That's very eager. I'm a very eager person when it matters." "It matters?" "It matters." He kissed her, soft, quick, then left before he could change his mind. Camille closed the door, leaned against it. Zoe appeared from nowhere. He left. I thought you went to the library. I went downstairs. I was waiting. Zoe grinned. So? So what? Are you finally admitting he's in love with you? Maybe. And you? Camille smiled. Maybe. That's not an answer. It's the only answer you're getting tonight. But she was smiling, and for the first time since Friday morning, everything felt right again. Friday night, the rescheduled dinner. Finally, a nice restaurant, Tribeca, the kind with cloth napkins and a wine list thicker than Camille's dissertation. Sterling in a suit, Camille in the borrowed dress, both overdressed, both nervous. You look beautiful, Sterling said. You look terrified. I am terrified. Of dinner? Of messing this up. You already messed it up once. You can't mess it up twice. That's not how that works. The waiter appeared, took their order, left. Sterling's phone buzzed. He ignored it. It buzzed again. You can check it, Camille said. It's fine. Another buzz. He looked. His face changed. What? Camille asked. Zoe sent a photo. He turned the phone. Margot was sitting in Camille's apartment, staring at the door. The caption read, She's judging your absence. Camille laughed. She misses us. Should we? No, this is our thing. No dog. Another buzz. Another photo. Margot closer to the door. She's moved, Sterling said. She's fine. 5 minutes later, another photo. Margot's face pressed against the door. Caption. She's been like this for 10 minutes. Help. Camille looked at Sterling. Sterling looked at Camille. We should go, they said at the same time. The waiter appeared with appetizers. Your first course. We're so sorry, Camille said. Can we get these to go? All of them? All of them. 20 minutes later, they were in Camille's apartment, with fancy takeout, with Margot. Margot was ecstatic, tail wagging, running between them. This is ridiculous, Sterling said. We just paid $200 for dinner we're eating on your floor. On the couch bed. On the couch bed. Do you regret it? Not even a little bit. Zoe appeared from behind the divider, saw them, saw the food. You left the fancy restaurant? Margot needed us, Camille said. The dog needed you. Yes. Zoe looked at Sterling. You're both insane. Completely, Sterling agreed. I love it. She grabbed her coat. I'm actually going to the library this time, for real, several hours. She left. Actually left this time. Sterling and Camille sat on the couch, Margot between them. Fancy food on paper plates. This is the best first date I've ever had, Sterling said. We didn't even stay at the restaurant. I know. That's why it's the best. 6 months later, Columbia University, dissertation defense, morning. Camille stood at the front of a conference room, 5 professors sitting at a long table, 40 people in the audience, and Sterling in the 3rd row, with Margot. The poodle was sitting perfectly on his lap, wearing a tiny bow tie. Professor Chen was speaking. Dr. Dubois, your analysis of Sartre's influence on the 1960s French novel is compelling. However, Yuru stopped, looked at Margot. Is that a dog? That's Margot, Camille said. She's French. The dog is French? She prefers French commentary. She's been my practice audience for 6 months. Professor Wilson leaned forward. You practiced your defense on a dog? A very judgmental dog. If Margot approved, I knew the argument was sound. The committee looked at each other. That's either brilliant or concerning, Professor Chen said. Sterling spoke from the audience. It's brilliant, Professor Wilson turned. And you are? The dog's owner. Of course you are, the defense continued. 2 hours of questions. Camille answered every single one, brilliantly. Finally, Professor Chen spoke. Dr. Dubois, we need a moment to deliberate. The committee left. 5 minutes that felt like 5 hours. They came back. Dr. Dubois, Professor Chen said, "Congratulations. Your dissertation is approved with distinction." The room erupted. Sterling stood up. Margot barked. Camille stood there, stunned. "Thank you. Merci, thank you." After, in the hallway, Sterling hugged her, Margot between them. "You did it," he said. "I did it." "Dr. Dubois, that's going to take getting used to. You brought Margot to my defense. She insisted. She's been listening to you practice for months. She deserved to be here for the victory. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And I love it. And you." Zoe arrived with flowers. "Dr. Dubois, the ramen queen becomes doctor. I still eat ramen. But now you can choose to eat ramen, that's different," Sterling smiled. "She got a teaching position, starts in the fall. Real money," Zoe said. "Adjunct money. But it's something. It's everything." 8 months after that, Paris, Luxembourg Gardens, morning, Camille and Sterling walking, Margot leading them. The poodle knew exactly where she was going. "She's very confident," Camille said. "She was raised here. This was Sarah's favorite spot. Should we be here then?" "We should. This is Margot's home, and He took a breath. "I have something to ask you." "Here?" "Here." Sterling stopped walking. So did Margot, right in a quiet corner. Flowers everywhere, perfect morning light. He switched to French. Terrible accent, but trying. "Camille, je t'aime, tu es sao." He struggled. "Comment dit-on? The love of my life, mon cœur, ma... everything." Camille was trying not to laugh, also trying not to cry. "Your accent is terrible," she said. "I know, I've been practicing for 3 months. With who?" "Margot." "The dog taught you French?" "She tried. I'm a bad student." Sterling was nervous, really nervous, talking to himself, quietly. "Okay, you've practiced this. Don't forget the ring. Don't drop the ring. Margot, help me out here." "I can hear you," Camille said. She was smiling through tears. "I know, I'm doing it anyway." He got on one knee. Margot sat perfectly beside him, not judging, supporting. "Camille Dubois, Dr. Dubois. The woman who speaks to my dog about Sartre and makes me want to be spontaneous. The woman who showed up in the rain with broken shoes. The woman who eats ramen by choice even though she doesn't have to anymore. This is the longest proposal. I'm not done. You make me want to be the person my ex said I could never be. Unpredictable, creative, spontaneous. Except I'm being those things for the right reason now. For you. For us." He paused, took another breath. "I've been making excuses for 8 months. Conference calls, working from home, checking on Margot. The truth is I rearranged my entire life around your walking schedule. Marcus knows. Wellington Partners knows. Everyone knows. And I don't care because being predictable about loving you is better than being spontaneous about anything else." Sterling, ow. Still not done. Margot saw through it immediately. She sat between us in week 2. She refused to walk when we were fighting. She's been trying to get us together since the beginning because she's smarter than both of us. Are you proposing or writing her biography? Both. He pulled out a ring. So, Dr. Dubois, will you marry me? Will you keep explaining Camus to my dog? Will you keep correcting my terrible French? Will you keep eating ramen with me in tiny apartments even though we can afford better? Will you? Yes. I wasn't done with the speech. I don't need the speech. Yes. Absolutely yes, but we're getting you French lessons. Deal. He slid the ring on her finger, stood up, kissed her. Margot barked, loud approval. People in the garden started clapping. They didn't even know these people, but they were clapping anyway. How long have you been planning this? Camille asked. Since the day you spoke French to my dog and she actually listened. That was the first day. I know. You've been planning this for over a year? I'm predictable. You knew this about me. I love this about you. They stood there. Paris, morning, Margot between them. Perfect. 6 months later. New York. Small venue in Tribeca. The wedding. 30 people. Family, friends. Marcus in the front row and Margot, ring bearer, wearing a tiny tuxedo with a bow tie. She walked down the aisle. Perfectly. Ring pillow balanced on her back. The crowd laughed. She sat at the front, judging every single person as they took their seats. The ceremony began. The minister smiled. We are gathered here to witness the union of Camille and Sterling brought together by a judgmental poodle named Margot. Laughter. I'm told that's accurate? The minister asked. Completely accurate, Sterling said. Margot did all the work, Camille added. The vows. Sterling spoke first. Camille, I promise to always make excuses to see you. Bad excuses. Terrible excuses. Conference call excuses even when there's no conference call. I promise to keep reading French philosophy even though I don't understand most of it. I promise to love you even when you eat ramen by choice. Camille smiled. Sterling, I promise to keep speaking French you don't understand and to explain existentialism to animals who may or may not comprehend it. I promise to love you even when you think you're being boring, which you never are. I promise to always show up in the rain, and I promise to let Margot judge us into making good decisions. That's actually a good promise, Sterling said. Margot, from her position at the front, did not do the judgment face. She did the approval face, the minister noticed. Even the dog approves. They kissed. Everyone clapped. Margot barked. At the reception, Zoe gave a toast. I met Margot before I met Sterling. She judged me immediately. It was brutal. But when Sterling showed up, she looked at him and Camille together, and even I could tell she approved. So here's to Margot, the best matchmaker I know, and the only one who works for dog treats. Everyone raised their glasses. To Margot. Margot, sitting at her own special table, lifted her paw. Regal. Marcus approached Sterling. Sir, your dog is better at relationships than most humans. I know. I'm not taking credit for any of this. 1 year later, Central Park. Sunday morning, the three of them walking. Camille speaking French to Margot. Sterling watching both of them, completely content. Tu es heureuse, n'est-ce pas? Camille asked the dog. You're happy? Margot pranced, tail up, content. What did you say? Sterling asked. I asked if she's happy. And? She is. Are you? Every day at 3 p.m. and every moment in between. That's very poetic for you. I've been reading more Sartre. You have not. I have. Margot and I discuss him. The dog doesn't discuss Sartre. She listens. Like I listen, that's what love is. Listening, and showing up, and rearranging your life around 3 p.m. walks. Camille stopped walking. Kissed him, right there in Central Park. Margot stopped too, sat down, looked at both of them. She's judging how slow we're walking, Camille said. That's not judgment. That's satisfaction. She planned this whole thing. A poodle matchmaker? The best kind. They caught up to Margot. She trotted ahead, leading them, like always. Sterling took Camille's hand. Thank you. For what? For showing up that first day, for speaking French to an impossible dog, for giving me a reason to make ridiculous excuses for everything. Thank you for being ridiculous enough to make those excuses. Always. They walked, the three of them. Perfect autumn morning, leaves falling, city alive around them. And Margot, leading the way, looked back one more time, made sure they were following, not judging, just making sure her family was together, where they belonged. What did you think of Camille and Sterling's story? Let us know in the comments. Rate this story from 0 to 10. What score? Would you give it? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to catch all our stories. And check out more emotional stories by clicking right here on the end screen.